Good evening, I'm Camelia, and this is KiniNews. The king has rebuked a Chinese language daily for publishing an illustration of the Jalur Gemilang without the crescent moon. The young di-Pertuan Agong, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar, has chastised a Chinese language newspaper. This was over its mistake with the Jalur Gemilang flag. In a statement, he said, as citizens, we should fly the flag with pride and patriotism within our multiracial society. Sultan Ibrahim stressed that the flag is not merely a piece of colorful patterned cloth, but represents the nation's struggles, history, independence, and the spirit of its people. He added that the mistake in displaying the Jalur Gemilang without the crescent moon can provoke the people's sensitivities and is unacceptable. He said the newspaper's management and editors should have been more careful in checking its materials before it went to print. The decree came after Sinchu Daily carried a front-page illustration of Agong bearing the Malaysian and China flags, but with the Malaysian flag missing a crescent moon. The newspaper has since apologized and blamed the mistake on a technical error. Meanwhile, the police and Home Ministry have both launched investigations against Sinchu Daily over the mistake. In a statement today, the Home Ministry said it has summoned Sinchu for investigations and has also issued a show cause letter to the Chinese language daily. Several media also reported Inspector General of Police Razarudin Hussain as saying that the police have also launched investigations under Section 4(1)(b) of the Printing Presses and Publications Act. Earlier, former Minister Maszlee Malik had said that an apology from Sinchu was not enough and called for action to be taken. Former Education Minister Maszlee Malik has called for authorities to take stern action without compromise after a Chinese daily made a blunder with the Jalur Gemilang. This came after Sinchu Daily apologized over his publication of an illustration on its front page which had the Malaysian flag missing the crescent moon. The illustration was of Agong bearing the Malaysian and China flags to coincide with Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to the country. In an apology published yesterday, Sinchu blamed a technical error for the mistake and vigorously apologized. However, Maszlee said the apology was insufficient and someone must take responsibility. In a statement today, he said an apology can only be accepted if it is done by someone who is ignorant, dense, and made a mistake. He pointed out that Sinchu is a renowned newspaper that is almost 100 years old with more than 500,000 readers, and questioned how a chief editor and other experienced editors could make a mistake about their country's own flag. He added that someone in Sinchu must either resign or be brought to justice. Otherwise, he said the country's pride and the flag will continue to be trampled on. Meanwhile, Garam said that while the daily must be accountable for the error, there is no need for extreme action to be taken. Gerakan Media Merdeka, Garam, has criticized those who called for extreme action against Sinchu Daily over an illustration error of the Malaysian flag. In a statement, Garam said that while the daily must be accountable for the error, reactions must be measured and outdated laws must not be used. It added that it strongly condemns any calls for extreme action, including public boycotts, harassment of media workers, or punitive measures under outdated laws like the Printing Presses and Publications Act 1984. Garam said these reactions do not contribute to constructive discourse and only serve to endanger press freedom in Malaysia. It added that this episode and the reactions to it is a reminder of why the country needs an independent Malaysian Media Council to address such situations. It said such a body, free from government or political interference, can serve as a fair and professional platform to address ethical concerns and public complaints without resorting to punitive state action. Yesterday, Sinchu published a front-page illustration featuring the Malaysian and China flags to coincide with Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to the country. However, the Malaysian flag was missing a crescent moon. Sinchu published an apology yesterday attributing the mistake to a technical error. It fixed the digital version of the illustration and republished the corrected illustration in its print edition today. Before we move on, consider supporting us by scanning the QR code on the screen and subscribing to Malaysia Kini. Moving on, an UMNO leader has taken a jab at Dr. Mahathir Mohamad over his comments on Pakla. UMNO Supreme Council member Puan Zarkashi has taken a sarcastic swipe at former Prime Minister Dr. Mahathir Mohamad. This was over the latter's praise of his successor, the late Abdullah Ahmad Badawi, for his graceful exit after the 12th general election. In a post on Facebook, Puan said Mahathir was right in saying Abdullah was a noble and mature leader worthy of being emulated after he left office when told to do so. He pointed out that Pakla never left UMNO despite being in Team B in 1987, and he did not form a new party nor did he try to destroy UMNO. He added that Pakla also didn't wait until UMNO had to be deregistered to resign. Puan was referring to the internal fight among UMNO leaders in 1987 which saw the party getting deregistered. Puan also said that Abdullah did not become an autocratic leader who ruled for decades and he did not try to return to power. He added that Pakla didn't attempt to become Prime Minister again after retiring, more so as an interim Prime Minister. He stated that Pakla is a legacy worth following and to not emulate hypocrisy. Still on Mahathir, the former Prime Minister has denied that he blocked the transfer of UMNO land that had been held in a trust. Former Premier Dr. Mahathir Mohamad has denied claims that he refused to sign off on the transfer of UMNO land that he held in a trust for the party. In a post on Facebook last night, Mahathir said that all trustees, including himself, had signed the necessary documents in 2015. However, he said the process was stalled in May 2017 when it was found that there were discrepancies between the names on the land title and the identity cards. Mahathir also pointed out that the legal papers filed by UMNO's Executive Secretary, Sumali Redjuan, names the Registrar of the Federal Territory Land and Mines Office as the defendant and not him. He added that the supporting affidavit filed alongside UMNO's summons stated that the application for consent to transfer land ownership includes a declaration signed by all 4 trustees, including him. On April 10, Bernama reported that UMNO was suing the Registrar of the Federal Territory Land and Mines Office to compel it to execute the transfer of the 9,723 square meter plot of land to UMNO. The land is presently occupied by Siri Pacific Hotel. UMNO President Ahmad Zahid Hamidi had claimed one of the trustees is refusing to relinquish the land to the party even though other trustees have done so. Meanwhile, UMNO Supreme Council member Puan Zarkashi wrote on Facebook that Mahathir must return UMNO's property. A Bersatu leader has stressed that his party was not connected to a case involving one of their leaders. He noted that the alleged offences occurred when the individual was still with UMNO. Bersatu Information Chief Tun Faisal Ismail Aziz said media reports on his deputy Ali Muhammad's arrest by MACC were misleading and did not accurately reflect the situation. In a statement yesterday, Tun Faisal clarified that the MACC's allegations relate to the awarding of concessions between 2021 and 2023, during which at that time Ali was Tanggabatu UMNO Division Chief and Deputy President of the Senate. He said he had contacted Ali's legal counsel, who confirmed that the MACC's charges relate to concessions awarded during the BN-led Malacca State Administration when the Chief Minister was from UMNO. Tun Faisal also questioned the arrest and asked whether this was a case of selective prosecution. He pointed out that Ali was never part of the state or federal administration and was not a decision maker in either administration on matters related to concessions. He also asked why Ali was not accused when he was in UMNO as part of the Pakatan Harapan BN government in Malacca, which lasted from 2021 until 2023. He questioned why Ali is being accused of offences now, when he is no longer an UMNO member and is taking legal action against the Malacca government and Chief Minister. Ali was arrested during an MACC raid on his house in Tanggabatu, Malacca yesterday evening and was remanded for 6 days. That is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to Kinitv.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'm Camelia. Thanks for watching.